Alright, so now the watercolour has dried, we can begin to work back into this. You might find that you are using pencil, you might use biro, or you might use pencil crayon. I have chosen to use a black biro on mine, so I'm going to look at adding some definition, maybe adding some tone, a little bit of detail to it, and then once I've then worked with the biro, my intention is to put in my paragraph in here about Art Nouveau, and I might put in, so I could maybe collage some bits down here, something like that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. So I'm pretty much just going to kind of go around the edge, and all I intend to really do is to add a little bit of depth, so I'm going to go like darker on the outside and just fade it a little bit on the inside. I'm going to try it on the first letter and see how it looks. So to create the interior tone, I'm just pressing more lightly and trying to press it evenly so it comes out the same depth. And I'll probably just do some more layers, press slightly heavier towards the outside, and then I can do a little bit of mark making by going horizontally, and that will help to fade out those lines I've just drawn into the middle section. That's kind of what I intend to do on the letters, and then I'm just going to show you a few other bits, and then I can carry working on those aspects a bit later. So let's say I'm going to work onto these leaves down here. So I'm going to work, you can see I'm moving the biro in the direction of the leaf this way, so I'm not going that way. I'm going to go follow the line of the leaf when I'm adding the layers of tone. Should help you get a more even result. You might have to twist the pen round if the ink's not coming out. we want to make sure there's some definition around this highlight area, this area, the negative space here. So it needs to be dark enough around that the white bit stands out. You can obviously do lots of different types of mark making with a biro, and I'll show you some of those when I do the central circular frame in a moment. So I mean, to make, you can see it's kind of standing out, but I feel like this might need to be a bit darker around the edges. So I'm going to use those little lines coming down off that just to fade in that edge, but making it darker. I feel like it's needed. Okay, so that you can hopefully see that's got like a lot more definition than it did before. And then I might choose to, on these circular aspects, I'm going to probably have a slightly freer style with it, because there was inside them like little details, so I might kind of begin to add some little marks. And then I'm going to use something called scumbling, which is where you can see I'm like moving it around almost in a scribbling fashion, but the lines aren't dark enough to create kind of a design, so it just almost looks like a rough texture. And then I'm just going to make these a little bit darker, and then we'll probably, when I've done more of them, I'll probably fade them out a little bit with some, I'll show you a little bit. So we don't really want this to be white. So where the circle is, you would have more shadow, and then towards the corner, sorry, of the circle. So these little corner bits here that I'm doing will be the darkest, and then the space in between will be the lightest. And so long as you do that consistently as you go along the circle, it will start to look 3D. Then it's just a case of being consistent really as you work all the way around, and that should give quite a nice frame for your writing. If I was working on like the edge piece, I would simply, just like on the letters, define the edges and then shade quite lightly, I'd say, because you're not going to have a lot of room to like make it gradual, so you just need almost like a light and then a sort of darker tone on the outside. Just something like that I would to define the edges. So hopefully you can see there. We'll just zoom out. You can see kind of where I'm applying the tone, the impact that it's having, the different techniques that I'm using, and you can use those in your own work to develop your title page.